Like, I didn't even know that, like, I was lacking. Because that's true. But the house next to us was so nice. I was like, we're showering outside with a water hose, and then the
Under
other
the-
house,
under the ulu tree,
under
Grandma
the ulu
would-
tree. And then inside, I see the other house with a chandelier. And I'm like, wow. What is that like?
Abraham's house. My dad was he was so calm. He never scolded us, and he was just a calm person. He was peaceful. Now I'm not saying my mom wasn't peaceful.
What was grandma?
My mom was a disciplinarian.
Okay,
My dad, my mom was a disciplinarian. She would keep us in line, and she did that very well. Yeah, there were a lot of times when I felt like, oh, mom, she just was against me, and she doesn't. Yeah, but when I got my own family, had my own kids, and got married, and you realize that my mom, she just wanted the best for me.
Technical difficulties. We'll be back. So I'm here. The latest. What's that?
They're looking through that which camera?
No, you're not looking through it. No, we're just talking. The cameras are just here.
Oh, okay.
Okay, everybody. This is my mom. This is my mom. We got my mom on the podcast today, so this is exciting. Yeah, how you feeling?
Good. I woke up a little late this morning, but I made it.
1 hour late to call time. But I was late too, so it's fine. But yeah, so my mom them live. How far you guys live from here?
Like a 3 minutes.
Yeah, 3-minute drive. So it's not that bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the kids sometimes ride down there. Not on their own. They don't ride on their own. They do sometimes, but they're not gonna ride on their own anymore. Anyways, so we are here, and this is exciting for me to have my mom on. But can you tell us a little bit about yourself? Where you grew up?
I grew up in Waianae, actually Miley, and I grew up in a big family. My mom and my dad and my siblings. I have 4 siblings and 10.
10 siblings?
No, 10. I have 10 older siblings, and then I have 4 siblings that I grew up with. Mm-hmm. Yes, and I have a lot of first cousins that we consider siblings.
Like family,
we're consider each other siblings because we were so close growing up. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I have a lot of cousins also. So I have a lot of siblings.
Yeah, that was different. I think when I went to the mainland, there was a lot of people. To me, your cousins are almost like siblings. The way they act, though, like meaning compared to the way like my friends sometimes in the mainland will talk about their cousins is like they just super distant, far away, and I'm like, oh, is that a second cousin? And like, no, that's my first cousin. I'm like, oh, snap.
Yeah, no, like
so different.
We consider we ate off the same plate. We got scoldings together. We grew up together. Our parents, we just really, really close like that.
Mm-hmm. What was it like growing up? Because I had Cameron on. Did you know that? Yeah, you knew that. You knew that.
Yeah.
So I had my sister on. And we talked about how different it was when she was growing up, which you guys can see later. But what was it like for, not just for Cameron, it was different from us growing up, but what was different when you were growing up? What was it like when you were growing up, I guess?
Well, growing up, I didn't feel like I was lacking anything. I mean, we weren't rich or anything, but I didn't feel like anything was lacking. It's just a normal childhood for me. I didn't feel like we were lacking anything. My dad was twice retired by the time I was born, and my mom was a housewife, and it was nice. It was a good childhood.
Yeah, and then we grew up in the same house with everybody. So like all of us everybody had kids, and then we all grew up with all of our cousins living in the same house, and it was. I remember when we moved out of Waianae, we moved to Waipahu or whatever. And I remember it was almost too quiet, uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And we thought it was like the most boring thing because we always had people to play with every single day. Everybody played with everybody. Yeah. That was a bummer.
Yeah, it was good. Like growing up, our house, we had a lot of people come through our house, like our families that came from Samoa or mainland, wherever they came from. They would always come and stay at our house. Our house was an old house. It wasn't, real nice house or anything. It wasn't a nice house, but there was a lot of love in that house, and a lot of people came. And a lot of family came and stayed with us. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a thing. Even when we were growing up, you know how sometimes kids grow up and they didn't even know that, like you guys talk about how the house was for you guys, and we didn't even realize like that it was run down when we were growing up.
Yeah.
But hold on. But the thing is, people say that, like, oh, I didn't even know that, like, I was lacking, because that's true. But the house next to us was so nice. I was like, we're showering outside with a water hose, and then the
Under
other
the-
house,
under the ulu tree,
under the
Grandma
ulu
would-
tree. And then inside, I see the other house with a chandelier. And I'm like, wow. What is that like?
Abraham's house.
So yeah, I think before I recognized that the house next to us was really nice, I thought, this is great. This is just life. And then you see that. And then I'm shivering outside. I see my classmates out there. I'm like, this is embarrassing.
And mind you, Grandma showered you guys with the water hose.
Oh, yeah, we were showering outside with the water hose. And then I remember we were all playing outside one time. And then Auntie Ma would yell at us. Because Auntie Ma lived close, but she didn't live in the house at the time. And she was like, hurry up, kids, come inside before the water gets cold. So we're all like, let's go, because if we didn't shower before the sun went down, the water was cold out of the pipes, and then we'd have to heat up water and mix it with the cold water. That's what it was like growing up.
Humble beginnings, I tell you.
Yeah. I wrote an essay about growing up in that house that got me into Iolani. That was funny. But yeah, that was so we did it. The house was run down. At first, I didn't recognize it. By the time I hit kindergarten, I recognized it. And then I also recognized when we were playing basketball with the trash cans that after Christmas, the house down the road got a basketball hoop. But yeah, the best part about that house was living with everybody. So when you grew up in the house there, and all the cousins and everything, but so even your cousins, because by the time we were born, all the cousins, your cousins were gone. All we knew was your siblings and their kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And my cousins moved up. The cousins that we grew up with, that we were really close to, like we consider sisters and brothers. They moved up in late 80s, I think, to Sacramento, and yeah. So you guys grew up knowing just my siblings, like yeah, but yeah.
So what was that like for you? Because you guys were really close, and you guys all went to school together. You guys did everything together.
Yeah.
Got into shenanigans together.
Yes, a lot of shenanigans.
Smoked menthols together. But what was that? That must have been hard being that close. Because for us, when we were little, I remember when our cousins moved. I remember the day they moved, and Justin, one of my cousins, was like, oh, I wish I could just grab this house and just take it with me to Sacramento, because we all missed out. Even though I was 8 at the time, I was like, I don't know, bro. Hopefully they got better houses in Sacramento. But that was sad for us as cousins.
Yeah.
And we weren't even, they were moving up, and we only lived with each other for the 7 years, you know?
Yeah.
So what was it like for you? You went through your whole childhood, high school, early adulthood, and everybody moved up. What was that like?
Well, that was hard. I wanted to move up with them, but of course, I had a big obstacle, which was Dad, with my husband. He didn't want to move. Yeah, I guess he's just comfortable here. I mean, I was comfortable here too, but I want to explore what's out there in the world.
Wait, no, but I'm talking about when your cousins moved up the first time.
Oh, my cousins.
The first migration.
Oh, my cousins. Yeah. When they moved up, yeah, we really missed them. We really missed my cousins. And yeah, it was lonely after they left because, yeah, we were really close to them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That must have been hard.
And to go, we as kids.
And then was that and then after that we got older. Then your siblings actually moved up to the mainland.
Yeah,
Like little by little.
Little by little, they
Yeah.
started moving, and then Mama and Auntie Ma moved last. Yeah, then it left us here by ourselves. I mean, for my part of the my side of the family.
Right.
Yeah.
But so
I mean, I have my brothers.
Yeah.
My older brothers, Uncle Boy and guys, but Auntie Ma, them they all left. Auntie Elsie, Uncle Frankie.
yeah, and then so all of them so that's been our childhood is mom's family's in Sacramento in the mainland.
Yeah.
Or just all over the mainland.
And then it was good because when my family moved to the mainland, I just started working for Aloha Airlines. So it's like we never skipped a beat because you guys kind of felt like you guys still grew up with your cousins because we would go 3-day weekends to Sacramento. We would go all the time. Every chance we had, we'd fly to Sacramento because, I worked for Aloha Airlines, which is a blessing at the time, you know. You guys never missed a beat with the cousins.
Yeah. Yeah, so we feel like we grew up with all of them. And man, the pigeon accent just stayed with some of them. But that's cool.
It's good because it's good.
They sound like they're from Hawaii.
Yeah. You still got the Hawaii in you.
Yeah.
Even though you're on the mainland.
Yeah. No, and then that was always just what we knew growing up. But we have family down here, but for our family on our mom's side, they were gone. And was that when we stopped going up more frequently? We got older. We started doing more sports and other things that we had going on, and then tanked.
Then Aloha went bye-bye.
Aloha.
And there went our happy days.
Yeah. Aloha decided to just tank. So all of that happened, and then what was Mama was in the mainland and everything, and was that hard? Just because the hardest part. Up until middle school, we were going back all the time.
Yeah.
And then I remember we hadn't gone back for a long time. And then finally at the end of high school, went back.
Yeah.
And it was like, everybody got older. Everybody was doing all kinds of things. Some people had kids. And so was it hard for you watching everybody else grow up together and you're over here by yourself?
Yeah, it's hard. Like, I wish I was there with everybody. I still do wish I was there. If you're listening to this, Chris, I still do wish I was there. I'm there with my family, but no, it's good. It's been good. And I don't feel like I missed anything in their lives because I'm always in contact with them. Yeah.
The hardest part is when we're just so close and stuff happens and you want to help and you want to be there, or or there's a big party, everybody look like they're having a blast. You're like,
and here we are.
Oh wow. Oh wow. They don't look like they miss me that much. Oh man. But it was always good. It's so cool the way that we were raised, because we just were always just really close with the family.
Yeah.
And then were you raised in the church too?
Oh yeah, I was raised in the church, in the Samoan church. I was I was a piano player for the church, and I taught the songs, the music, and from a very young age from what I can remember, we were in church. I was born in the church. My dad was a Catholic. I don't know if it's a practicing Catholic because he don't go to church every Sunday, but he always prayed, and he claims that he was Catholic. But my mom was a LMS, London Mission Society, Lukaiki. So
can you explain that for people that don't know, like what the
Lukaiki?
Yeah,
I don't know how to
LMS is like a
London Mission Society.
It's an old denomination kind of thing in Samoa. That's the best way I can explain it. Otherwise, yeah, that's it. That's all I know.
But I think they like Efakasa, EFKS.
Yeah.
but anyway, it's a Samoan church that we grew up in, and yeah, I don't. Yeah, so we grew up in the Samoan church, so I've always been in church.
Yeah. Because you raised us in the church too.
Yeah,
Yeah, always raised us in church.
And
Can you talk about what? So, Papa was older.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he was older, but and then he would go to church sometimes with Mama. But what was it like growing up just at home with Mama and the church? Like, what was some of the things that she did? And
She
prayed a lot.
Yeah, we prayed. She prayed a lot, and we always went to youth. We always went to the youth activities at church. We went to choir practices. We got involved in everything at the church. Most of our whole lives centered around the church, and even at the church bingos.
Don't talk about the bingos. Man. They don't do those anymore.
We had our prizes were like food, like food prizes.
Yes.
So you would win food prizes.
Yeah,
So those kind of bingos.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was good. Yeah, growing up, I just never knew anything.
Nothing else.
Nothing else, just church.
Yeah.
We didn't. My mom didn't allow us to go to football games, to go to school activities. Nothing. No curricular activities.
No friends.
No friends, because she felt friends were bad influence. But so it was school and home, and everything for the church we went to.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because that was our life too. When especially when Dad's dad was pastor, and then we were just in church all the time. But you guys did everything in the church. You were playing choir, playing piano. Mama would always pray every morning, every night. We had to pray. We had to sing songs. Yeah, that's interesting because I see the value in that growing up now, right? At first, it's like, oh man, try not to be in the house around 6:00. But now I'm trying to do that with my kids, and I can't get them to sit down.
Not even
for a little bit.
Yeah.
We have a devotion time with our family every time after church on Sundays, and we can't even get our kids to join us. We're trying though. We're trying. Yeah. So that's cool. And then when Grandma and them went up and Auntie Ma them went up, everybody went up there. You were here, and that was hard.
Yeah, it was hard.
Yeah.
Like I said, when they first moved up, I just started working with Aloha, so it kind of eased the the missing them.
Yeah,
because we would
see them.
We would go up there all the time, and then I'd leave you guys there. So I left Creighton and Carmen one time and came back without them, and Dad was in a happy camper because he missed them, so he had to fly back and go.
Yeah,
get
you want to
them.
hear it's funny? So, I jumped in the car with Dad one day to work. He was in that in the truck. Remember the old Toyota? Mm-hmm. And Creighton and Carmen ended up staying. I would never, like, you guys. They asked me if I wanted to stay. I was like, absolutely not. I want to come home.
Because your dad will be
No, because you guys bought me Madden 2001. So I like my video games. I was like, I don't want to go sleep in nobody's house. I want to go home and be in my house. I was always a homebody. And then I jumped in Dad's truck, and he had a picture of Carmen and Crate.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, oh, wow, you don't have a picture of me. But it was because they were gone. So I heard somebody say one time, I don't have a favorite child. My favorite child is whoever's farthest away from me. I'm like, my dad's favorite child is whoever is farther away from him. So you always wanted to move to the mainland, though?
Yeah.
Why?
That was my dream since I was a little girl. I always wanted to move to the mainland. So I have my sister, my older sister, Linda. Mm-hmm. I was young. I was in elementary, I think. And she had her husband at the time. Linda's my dad had 10 kids from his first marriage. Then he had 4 of us. Yeah. So Linda's my older siblings from my dad's first marriage. But Linda had a husband at the time, and he was from Vermont. And she said, Mom and Dad, we're moving to Vermont. We're taking all of you, and we're moving to Vermont. And I was so excited. Vermont, oh my gosh, it's so nice. It snows over there. but it never panned out, and I was so bummed. And but my dream, I always wanted to live in Alabama, like in the South, and have a house with a wraparound porch, like a white house with wraparound porch. And yeah, it's I just always wanted to live in the mainland in the Four Seasons and wear boots and wear fur coats, and coats, and
Just live different.
live differently. Like,
That's so funny because you're like Cameron's like you. Like Cameron wants to be out there and go through seasons and all
I
that.
do too. I do too. And
But you live by a golf course with a big
don't get me wrong.
balcony.
Yeah, don't get me
and
wrong.
a big house.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. I'm thankful. I'm
Yeah,
thankful for the
yeah.
blessings, but I'm thankful for I'm thankful for the blessings, and I just wish, like, if I could experience just living on the mainland. And I'd like to. When you guys were young, I wanted to travel and go on a road trip. Take my kids on a road trip, but I guess I'm never gonna know how that feels.
That's not true. I was
That's
telling
not-
Craig, I said, I would like to go on a vacation where instead of just going somewhere, we jump in an RV and we just travel. That would be cool and see America.
And that's why when you were in college in Indiana and Tennessee, I was like, "Don't you want to live here, Christian?" Because I wanted a reason to go out that way, to go to Tennessee, go to Indiana.
Well, if I found a farmer's daughter, I would have moved out there, but there was none. There was none. I found better.
Leah.
I found better, yeah. But so what was it like kind of raising us then? When you were raising us in, what was that like? Because it was different. You were working part-time. I never knew you weren't working full-time for a long time. You were working part-time and you were with us a lot. You spent a lot of time with us.
Yeah, I worked part-time. I started part-time. I went full-time. I went part-time. I just went back and forth. Full-time, part-time, full-time, part-time. And then, I worked for Aloha for that few years. And then, yeah.
Was it stressful raising us?
No. People ask, like, were you and Creighton, your brother, was it hard to raise you guys? I said no, because we go to the store, like, and we say you're not going to get this toy if you guys want something, and we say no, you're not going to get it. You guys wouldn't throw tantrums, like, believe it or not, but you guys wouldn't throw tantrums.
Yeah, we wouldn't argue. We wouldn't push back. It would be like, oh, mom said no.
Yeah, but now kids nowadays, like
Which kids?
your kids, your kids are like, no, it's like it's. I don't know where. They're different. The kids nowadays.
Are they raising? Are they? Because, well, I don't know if they're different or their temperaments are different or something. Because, our oldest, she's not like that at all. When we tell her no, it's
a no.
It's a no.
Oli knows.
It's a no. But I don't know what happened after that.
After Oli, I don't know. Maybe they don't understand. Maybe they just really want something.
So we just never really wanted it enough.
No, because if I tell you and Creighton,
My sons had no ambition. That's why.
if I say no, you guys aren't having that, or if I say stop, yes, and you guys would argue and fight, and
we'd argue and fight with each other, but we never did. Like when you guys said something, we wouldn't just go do it.
And it wasn't like a chaotic house. Like, no, it felt like, I'm not perfect or anything. We're not perfect, but I felt like our house was in order. Considering, I had.
You know what I remember growing up? Our house was always clean.
Yeah,
I didn't. I was thinking about that. Our house. I don't remember our house being messy, where it was like all over the place.
Because I would not let you guys make right. And then when we moved out of Miley and we came to Waipahu, we lived in a 2-bedroom apartment. It was always clean, but we hardly had any furniture, so it was easy to keep clean. And you guys didn't have toys like how your kids have lots of toys, but you guys had just a few toys that we bought from Savers, and right, we'd walk to Savers and
we got the there was this basketball game one time that we had where you flick the basketball up into the net, and my mom bought me that. But it didn't come with any basketballs. I was like, I hate Savers, man. Or they had these wrestling toys that was missing a foot. It's like everything is good, but the foot is gone. Oh man, yeah, that was But yeah, I remember that we didn't have a lot of toys, but we were fine.
But the toys that you did have.
But I didn't play outside. We didn't play outside. We weren't like outside kids.
Yeah.
Me and Kurt.
Yeah, only when your friends come over, like
Yeah.
Rit and
Yeah. Yeah, we played inside a lot. Huh.
and then we had I didn't have a microwave at the time when we moved to Waipaw because my thing is it's too much electricity. You know, we don't want spend too much on electricity. Our TV was a 13-inch black and white TV.
Well, we got the 13-inch, and then my mom at DIA won our TV that was with us forever. You want a flat screen
Flat
TV?
screen at the time, but it was still like a big and bulky, but it was just a screen that was flat.
That was huge.
Yeah.
I remember when you won that at DIA, I was like, whoa, we got a TV. Because our other TV was so small.
13-inch.
Oh, man. We were watching that on a 13-inch TV. Yeah, that was, oof. And I remember that we never, so what was this thing? How come we never had beds?
What do you mean? At where?
Like
In Miley?
No, even in we like Creighton and I had a bunk bed, right? But you guys had the futon.
Oh, well, probably we just couldn't afford it. We afford it?
No, but and then even when we moved to the other house, we just liked not having we just didn't like beds. Like we just put it on the floor.
Yeah, it was just easy to move
Yeah.
around and but you remember it in when you guys were still in 6th grade or seventh grade even, we moved from the 2-bedroom apartment up to we bought a house in Village Park, and we were so used to in a small house. We were all sleeping in that one. There was 4 bedrooms for us
For years.
for years, and there was 5 of us, you and me and Dad and Creighton and Carmen. But we all slept in one room, and the other rooms weren't. It was just there, but we all slept in that one room all together.
Yeah, we turned that room into a weight room. Like we just did all kinds of other stuff with those rooms.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It took us a while to get used to the space,
Yeah.
the space. Yeah.
Yeah, like none of us wanted to sleep by ourselves.
Yeah.
We'd rather stay. Yeah, we were all used to sleeping close together. Huh. Yeah, that's funny. Mm-hmm. So I have a question because, man, Leah and I, we've been taking our kids to sports. We've been taking our kids, hold on, let me just press this. So we've been taking our kids to sports. And the thing that gets us is we were like, man, how did mom and dad afford all of this? It's expensive. Yeah. Paying for shoes, paying for the jersey, registration fees. Because we weren't like wealthy. But how did you guys afford that?
You know what? I come to think of it, I don't know. Dad was working construction. I was working, and yeah, I don't know. Just by God's grace, I can't even tell you how. It was just we just had our jobs, and I don't know how just by God's grace, we were scraping, we were making it, and we never went hungry. We had food on our table. We never felt like, we didn't have enough. The Lord just provided. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I really don't know how to, because those football registrations, they get expensive. Yeah. I think, in the couple hundreds at least.
Yeah, they're expensive. And then the crazy part was, I look at my kids now and we pay for them like, bro, you better be thankful for this. You better be grateful that I'm even letting you play. I cannot believe this. And so I'm thinking when you were doing it for us, we were older than my kids are.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, wow, I was telling Leah this. I'm like, man, we didn't even appreciate everything my parents did. I never had old shoes. I always had new football cleats. I always had, if I wanted gloves, my dad got it.
And then remember the mouthpieces. We got a special mouthpieces from the dentist. Mm-hmm. Like the ordered it special for you and your brother. I think Creighton's was blue and yours was red or yeah. But those were expensive times.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So yeah, I guess we didn't even appreciate everything. And I'm thinking about, especially when we got to high school and then just wanting stuff, just being selfish, not thinking of everything that you guys are doing, the parents are doing. I'm saying that only because my kids are so young and I'm like, bro, you better be grateful for me. But I was like, oh man, we weren't grateful for everything our parents were doing, like the things we would complain about, or if I wanted this shirt or I didn't like this one, I wanted this one instead,
Yeah.
Yeah, that was hard.
What comes to mind, that reel that I was just when you said you better be thankful to me, to your kids, and then that reel that Snoop was I want to thank myself for
I'd like to thank.
I like to thank myself
Me.
for
Yeah, that's how it is. Wow.
yeah. So my mom used to say, you gotta know, like when she's growing up and she's scolding us, teaching us, and she would tell us she would tell us, you guys gonna know when you guys have your guys' own kids. You guys may not know now. When you have your own kids, then you're gonna know what I'm talking about. And yeah, when you get your own kids, then you realize, well, mom was right. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, your parents knew more. They knew you more.
And you at the time thinking, oh yeah, mom, you don't know. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So many things that you and dad told us, we realized later. Like even important stuff, not just the silly things like the being thankful, like those things,
Yeah.
like the things that we did as kids. But even when now I'm more thankful, like when we became an adult, right? Issues in marriage, you're like, fix this about your attitude, Christian, or it's gonna be a problem when you get married, and things like that. Where I'm
Yeah.
like, no, you guys just don't know.
You guys
just
against
don't
me.
know
You guys
me.
just don't want me.
Yeah,
to-
yeah.
Yeah, but
But you
like,
guys are looking out for us. You guys
Yeah.
knew, like, okay, I know you struggle with this. I know this is how you are.
Yeah, we
but you
know
need to deal with this.
Yeah, we know you. We know you need to fix this. But then when you're young, you're like, people are like, oh, my parents, they just don't know. They, they just think, they just don't want me to do this. They don't want me to do that. But yeah, but in time,
Yeah.
you'll hopefully realize that your parents only meant well for you.
Yeah. Yeah. Were there times like that for you and your parents? That you like, oh man, my parents was right. I was absolutely wrong.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. There were times like, I would. My dad was he was so calm. He never scolded us, and he was just a calm person. He was peaceful. Now I'm not saying my mom wasn't peaceful.
What was grandma?
My mom was a disciplinarian.
Okay,
My dad, my mom was a disciplinarian. She would keep us in line, and she did that very well. But my dad, he would tell us, don't do that. Your mom would gonna get mad if she finds out. Don't, he just tried to keep us in line and stuff. But my mom was a disciplinarian, and yeah, there were a lot of times when, I felt like, oh, mom, she just was against me and she doesn't, yeah. But when I got my own family, had my own kids and got married, and you realize that my mom, she just wanted the best for me.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's cool because, like when mom was older, and we can talk about that if you want. But you would still like lie down like with mama, like that was like you were a little girl. Yeah. You okay?
Yeah.
You wanna yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we can take time, mom. You're close with mama.
Yeah.
What was that? What is it like? So what would you? I guess what would you say to anyone who with their parents right now and enjoying the time they have and
Oh, yeah. Like to cherish the time with your parents.
because
and-
you always tell us that even with Leah's parents or
Yeah.
with
Yeah,
her grandma,
grandma.
she still has a grandma.
Yeah, so it's a blessing that Leah still has her grandma, and that's why I tell you guys, take care of your grandparents, your elders, right? Your parents and your grandparents, because when they're gone, there's no one else.
Yeah.
You only have now to take care of them. You not gonna have a second chance. Yeah. And that's, to me, I believe that's where your blessings come from. Caring for your elders.
Yeah. And that's what scripture says too, right? The Bible. Like, take care of your family. Take care of your parents, right? When they're older.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, Mama never lived with us. She would come and stay with us for a while and then go back to Auntie Mao. And but Auntie Mao and Uncle Henry and their children, and my grandma lived with them most of her life. I mean, most of her life after Papa passed away and stuff. And I feel that they're blessed because they took care of Mama day in and day out. And Mama, not a difficult person. Sometimes she would not want to take her medicine, and then they would have to Mama, you need to take your medicine, and I feel Auntie Ma, them are blessed because of they took care of Grandma
Yeah.
to the very end. And Troy, right by Mama's side, all the time,
Right there in the closet.
right.
He slept in
Just where
Grandma's
his
closet.
room was, in Grandma's room, in the closet, and then drove Grandma to church, drove Grandma wherever. Him and Grandma, they was like bosom buddies. They white on rice, hand in glove. They were just wherever Mama was, there Troy was.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's a lot. That on whatever family that is that's taking care,
It's
a lot. Like even Auntie Musa them with Papa, because they get the blessing, and it's hard to see because in the moment they get the good side. Everybody can come over,
Yeah,
and everybody hangs out with Papa
and
or
then go home
Mama,
to their
and
house.
then they go home to their house,
and then
and Mama doesn't see them, so it's like, oh, you love these kids, yeah.
So they're loving on you. The
Yeah.
people, the ones that they don't live with, but because they live with you, sometimes I don't want to say like take it for granted, but but they see you every day.
You see the good stuff and the bad stuff.
Yeah, you see the good and the bad. But like if I see you every now and then, like you just come to visit, of course I'm gonna make the most of our few moments
time,
the time together. But the ones that I live with, I will see them tomorrow. Know, so yeah.
Yeah, because whenever we went up to start, we never got scoldings from Mama. We never got in trouble.
Yeah.
Yeah, we could do whatever we wanted. Just because, and then our cousins couldn't, but just because Mama doesn't see us very often.
Yeah, and Mama probably like, oh, they're gonna go back pretty. They're gonna go back again. I won't see them again. But the cousins that were caring for her, like they got the good and the bad. And I feel for them sometimes because, because they got the good and the bad. And they were the ones that were there day in and day out caring for our loved ones and caring for Mama. But that's why I believe that they're blessed because of that. Yeah.
I appreciate you sharing that, and then also because even though I'm 33, but my mom still takes care of me.
Yep. Yeah, I do.
Yeah, when I first got married, I used to my wife, you guys don't know, my wife she likes to eat healthy foods. And then I'm trying to eat healthier, but I would go over when Leah was eating super healthy. Sometimes I would go stop at my mom's house before dinner. And I was like, Mom, I don't have white rice in my house. We eat brown rice. And my mom would go, oh my goodness. My son is hungry. And then Dad would look at me like, what? I gotta make him food. He's like, yeah, just take this and go buy yourself a plate. I'm like, thanks, Dad. So Leo was eating healthy. He's like, how are you gaining weight? I was like, I don't know. I'm eating the cucumbers. Oh, man. What was it like for you having Cameron so late?
Oh, well, that was a welcome surprise.
It wasn't that late. You had me young. That's why you had kids young. That's why.
Yeah, I had you at.
You weren't old. You were young when I
got pregnant at 18.
Yeah, and you
gave birth to you at 19. Got married at 18. Had Creighton at a year or so after.
20, 21.
Yeah. 20. Yeah.
But having Cameron.
Yeah, that was like from left field. that was a welcome surprise, welcome blessing. I mean, I didn't think. Yeah, I think I was 38. I think.
Yeah, you weren't old. You're young.
Yeah. But I just felt young because you were already in college. You were a freshman in college, I think, or sophomore in college. And I called you and I said, "Guess what, Christian?" And you said, "What?" And I said, "I'm pregnant."
That's not how it happened.
What? I thought that's how it.
We all jumped on a Zoom call, and you said, "Guess what?" And then Carmen went, "What? You're pregnant?" And she started laughing. We all started laughing. You was like, "Yes." That's how we found out. And then Carmen ran off screen, and she just went to her room.
I don't remember. All I remember was
Carmen, confirm if that's true. I think that's true.
All I remember was you say, "Really, Mom?" You miss me that much? You had to go get pregnant? Like, oh.
Man, I remember we thought it was a boy. We were like, oh, it's a boy. We're going to do this. Oh, we're going to do that.
Yeah.
Oh, he's going to play. Dad was like, oh, you guys already played football. You guys can train him. I'm like, yeah, we can train him. And then we went to the ultrasound and we found out she was a girl.
Yeah.
And we walked out like.
I was the only happy one. I don't know about Carmen, but maybe me and Carmen was glad that it was.
No,
yeah.
we were happy, but we just walked
But
out
you guys were like,
with our heads down. Well.
But she's such a blessing because she keeps us young. Because Dad and I are, we're a little older now, but Cameron keeps us young. Like, she keeps us going. I can imagine if Cameron wasn't here, like, we'd be like older. I mean, we wouldn't. There's nothing and nobody else to keep us except for the grandkids.
Yeah. But yeah, because Cameron was born, we do the water park. We do we do the Disneyland. We do like all of those little kid things
because of her.
Yeah, because of Cameron. Yeah, man, remember and yeah, but that was different though.
And also, it feels like she's an only child. It feels like it because you guys are, grown, have your own families, and I feel like it's just Cameron. Like, I'm only raising Cameron. Like, she's just kind of feels like she's an only child.
Yeah. Did you raise her different from us? Did you? What's different from how we grew up?
I think I was more strict with you guys. I mean, I'm still strict with Cameron,
Yeah.
but I think I was more strict with you guys. I was more strict with you guys.
Yeah, I feel like you ran a tighter ship when we were little.
Yeah, I think I did.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't realize. I guess I did, but like Grandma said, Mama said it's only for your own good.
No, I know it's for my own good because right now I'm wondering where I went. I'm wondering what is going on in my house. No, but because I think about our house, like I said, it was clean. It was like I remember what friends would tell us, "Oh, you should do this." I didn't need my parents there because I was like, "No, my dad wouldn't like that, or my mom wouldn't like that," and we just wouldn't do it because of our parents. We were so scared to make our parents mad. I know this is. I know that my parents are far away right now. They can't see this, but I feel like they'll find out somehow.
Yeah. And then remember back in the day, we used to go to our business meetings, and we'd leave you and Creighton home and say, "Don't open the door. Don't."
Yeah, we were able to take care of us. That's where I became a canned food connoisseur. I cooked every canned food under the sun.
And then Uncle Ofu came in and stayed with us for a bit and showed you guys how to cook corned beef hash.
He shows how to because me and Crate were microwaving it. We had the microwave at the time, so we just microwaved the can. He goes, "Bro, you gotta fry this thing." And when he fried it, it was so good.
Yeah.
And then he taught me how to cut the Portuguese sausage at an angle so that it's easier to flip. And then he disappeared, and we were home by ourselves for 2 days. And then you guys came back with a bunch of pictures from Anaheim.
Oh yeah.
Look, we're at the hockey game. We're at the stadium. Oh, that looks cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, you guys are always doing stuff. You guys are always busy. You and Dad.
Yeah.
You guys are always doing something. And then And then Dad. So how's it been with you and Dad since Dad could care less about traveling anywhere to see anybody? Even even if I moved away and you probably want to see Dad, like, "Oh, I want to go see Chris," and Dad probably would be like, "He's the one that moved away. Make him come here." I'm not saying he would say that, but I'm saying that's to help people understand Dad's kind of perspective on traveling.
Well, Dad,
what was it like with in the conversations you had about like wanting to go to Maine?
Oh, I would make all kinds of give him all kinds of reasons why I think we should move. Like even from the start of our marriage. Like,
oh, you wanted to move before everybody else moved?
Yes, I wanted to move.
I didn't know that.
I wanted to move even before my family moved up. I wanted to. From when I was a kid, I wanted to move, but we didn't pan out moving to Vermont. So, but that's okay. And that's okay.
Wow, you don't want to move to Vermont.
It looks pretty though.
Does it?
I have a classmate that moved to Vermont. She got married to a guy from Vermont. It's so beautiful.
Is it?
The leaves are so like the fall. It's so beautiful.
Yeah. Well, I could see living in like I liked Indiana. I like Tennessee.
I like Indiana. I like the South.
I like Tennessee.
I like the Southern hospitality. I like that. I love country music. I grew up on country music, I raised you guys on country music, and
You drove me to my prom, and you
With
guys
country
played
music.
Lukenbach, Texas, and I was so embarrassed. I was like,
yeah, and I'm in my
and then
mind.
now I listen to that all.
In my mind, I'm thinking you guys are going to be thankful for this music when you guys get
That's true.
older. But yeah, so I like the country living. I like small town country living. Yeah, so
Yeah.
it was always in me. So I've always wanted to move, and I always try to give Dad reasons why we should move.
Yeah.
But yeah, it never. I guess he doesn't see
God,
it that.
yeah. God has a different plan.
God had a different plan.
Yeah, and it's good. His plans are good,
Yeah.
right?
Yes, his plans is great. It's perfect.
Yeah. So one of the things that how's it been with your social media that you started up? Can you talk about that a little bit?
Oh, Life with Mama Ella. Oh yeah, so it's fun. I like it. It's fun. It's a way to like what do you call that? What word I want to use? It's a way to like
Share.
share my life with others. A peek into Mama Ella's life. Life
Yeah.
with Mama Ella with living with Parkinson's and know.
Oh, see, okay. I wanted to talk about that. So, if you guys don't know, Life with Mama Ella is my mom's page on Instagram, and she shares like stuff that she's doing. But really, I don't think people have the understanding yet of why the regular things that you're doing is exciting. Is like, oh, she's doing this and she's doing that because you do have Parkinson's.
Yes.
Can you talk about that, like when you were diagnosed and stuff?
Well, I was diagnosed in 2015, but I had symptoms way before that. I noticed the symptoms long before 2015.
What are the symptoms?
Shakiness. Remember, I would wash the dishes, and you guys would be like, "Mom," or you or your brother or Carmen, your sister, "Why is your hand shaking?" And I'm like, and I didn't even realize it was shaking, but it was just slowly starting. But anyway, yes, symptoms like that, and then I was having a hard time walking, like staying in step, and just like little symptoms like that, and then stress would make it more worse and everything. But yeah,
Oh, so you saw symptoms early.
yeah, and then a nurse at work, she noticed it, and I kind of thought that's what I had. I had Parkinson's before the nurse mentioned it to me. But of my friend at work, she's a nurse. She said she was walking behind me, and she said, "Ella, you walk a little different now." And I said, "Oh yeah, yeah." But I knew what she was getting to. But I said, she said, "Did you ever see the doctor?" And I said, "Oh no." She said, "You walk like those people who have." She didn't want to say. She said the P word, but I knew what she meant. She didn't want to say what she meant.
Did you feel bad when she shared that? She said that?
No, because I knew it. I never went to the doctor yet, but I knew it. That I kind of thought that's what I had. And then I finally went to the neurologist, and and he confirmed that that's what I had.
No. How was it when you found out?
Well, I broke down, and then he was like, "Why are you crying?" And then I said,
Wow, doc.
and then I said, because there's no cure. And then he said, but there's medicine that can slow it down. So there's no cure, but you can slow the progression. Yeah. And exercise.
Yeah, and that was hard. So what's one of the 2015, and then you find out, but you knew you had symptoms before. Doctor tells you. How do you process all that?
Yeah. At first it was like, because I know there's no cure, it was hard to process at first. But I think, you just kind of accept it, and it's easier to just, not easier to just accept, but don't fight it. Just, it is what it is, right? So just try to do life
With Mama Ella.
with Mama Ella, and the best you can, with Parkinson's, Yeah.
Yeah, and you're not letting it slow you down or anything like that.
I'm trying not to.
Yeah. So it's the hard part about that is, like you said, there's no cure, and you can slow it down, but it's continuing to progress and things like that.
Yeah. And I at first I wondered if it was hereditary. My dad never had Parkinson's. My mom never had Parkinson's. I don't know, but I don't think it's hereditary. But so then I started thinking, is it the water that we live in Cunha, and the water, the things in the water, because it was like farm fields and stuff. And I don't think it's that. I don't know, but they say that could start it. But
We just don't know.
I just don't know. It's it is what it is. It's just I got Parkinson's and just trying to make the most of every day with the Parkinson's.
Mm-hmm. How would you encourage somebody who got diagnosed or is dealing with it?
Just to.
How did you you? Did you pray? Did you?
Did I pray before? What do you mean?
When you find out, like, what do you like?
How
do you deal with God with all of it?
And
deal with God. I don't know if that's the right way to say it, but like,
how do you respond? How did I respond?
How did you respond to hearing the news? That's hard news to hear.
Yeah. At first it's hard to process, like Parkinson's, like me, like really, like, and especially knowing you don't have a cure. There's no cure yet, right? Yeah, you just kind of, I guess you just take it with a grain of salt. Take it with, just try to do the best you can with what you have, yeah.
And then, because there's people that like something, like they look at something like this and they go, see, how could a God exist if this kind of stuff's happening to you? How could these bad things happen in your life? And how did you I guess that's what I'm asking is, how did you wrestle with God? Like, you never questioned God's goodness, you never questioned God's faithfulness to you, God's love for you.
Yeah. Thankfully, I'm not. I don't know everything about the Bible. I don't know I don't know a lot of things, but thankfully, I was at the point where, just because I have Parkinson's, that don't mean God don't love me, or that don't mean I'm being punished, or it's not nothing I've been speaking like negative in my life, or it's not about speaking
a
like
sin issue.
Yeah, it's
somewhere.
not a sin issue. I got Parkinson's. It's just, it is what it is. That's what I got, and that's what I've been diagnosed with, and that's what I never blamed God. Like, why me, God? Why me? What did I do? I never felt like it was a sin issue. That's why I got Parkinson's. It's just the cards I've been dealt.
You're like, reshuffle the deck, man. And I think one of the ways, I guess our family, like we're all kind of with you, is we do pray, but we also just go about our life living and enjoying every moment that we got, right? Like we laugh, we crack up about things, and then we pray. It's not like we're taking it lightly, but we're just rolling with the punches.
Yeah.
And
just like take it. Don't be stuck on it. Just continue to live your life. You still have breath in your lungs and strength to do what to enjoy life. Enjoy life, and to enjoy life till you can't no more. Just make the most of what you have, what you got.
Yeah. No, that's good. Yeah. Don't let Parkinson's stop you from making food.
And I did get a second job, so and I'm handling. It's.
Yeah, you got a second job.
And the second job, I stand up the whole night, like at least 4 hours. And I thought it would be a problem, but no, I mean, I'm okay. And it's good exercise for me. I mean, I don't exercise otherwise, and exercise is good for Parkinson's.
What happened to the roller skating?
Oh yeah, that that didn't last. I went 2 times, and then I got busy, and then that fell off. Yeah.
Like for the Mama Ella rollerblading again.
Yeah. Maybe I'll take it up again one day. We'll see.
Yeah. Oh man.
Yeah.
That's funny. When are you guys gonna come to our church? I'm just kidding. I'm not gonna ask that. What was it like when I became a pastor? Was that a thing? You're like, oh wow, that's weird. I didn't know that.
Yeah, well, we were only humans, right?
Huh?
We were only humans.
Oh, we're
right?
talking about that. No, I was just talking about it in general. But yeah, go ahead.
No, and when you told us, we were like, especially Dad, right? Because he has his company or whatever, and he was like, "Really, Christian? A pastor?" Like we had high hopes for you to become a lawyer, so that you can help him, right, in this company. But then we came to our senses, right? we said, okay, Lord, if this is what it is, who are we to stand in your way? And, if Christian wants to be a pastor, if Christian says he's going to be a pastor, then, said that's your plan for his life. Who are we to say we want him to be a lawyer,
Yeah, what's crazy is while I was in seminary, I was trying to go to law school. Did you know that?
Yeah, I did.
I was trying to like do nighttime at the same time,
Yeah, I did.
but mostly to just
Please, Dad.
no, not to believe. But I was like, because I want to do it too. Like I didn't. It wasn't like becoming a pastor, right? I didn't want. I saw the trajectory of my life, and I went, oh, I don't want that. Like meaning, I don't want to just be a pastor. I don't want to like just struggle. I was like, I could put my mind towards so many other things.
But
and
it's
like, yeah, it's good. It's good. But like my friends, I was young. I became a pastor. I was 23 years old. I had other friends who were doing all kinds of other stuff. They were just starting their careers, right, going in their path, and I was like, I can do both of those things. But in my mind, I'm like, I can do law school at night. I can do this. I could do that. I could do all kinds of stuff, and God just always brought it back to no. You're gonna focus on this,
Yeah.
and then Dad would always tell me like when I'm like, oh, Dad, I got this idea for this thing, and it's not because I'm trying to prove anything to anybody, but I always thought I have so much mental capacity that I can put my mind towards. And every time I try to do something, it's like God brings me back, like, just focus on the church here.
And
focus on pastoring.
Yes.
Don't worry about all the other stuff that you want. Because a lot of those other things, it wasn't just, it's funny because when I did decide, okay, I'm gonna go into ministry, I felt God calling me there. I don't think people realize I was disappointed too. Because I wanted to do,
be something, do something.
Yeah, because I went to school, I went to a decent private school. I went to a decent school in college, and I knew that I could do well, So being a pastor was, even in my mind, was kind of like, oh, yuck. Like being in the world, in the eyes of like myself looking at my own life, like, man, I don't want to just do that. And then all the things of like pastors just making a living off of the church, I was like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to. It's like, it's humbling to do it. It's humbling because I've given up. You give up a lot of other things in the world to do it. But at the same time, I also look back at a young age, and for my own kids, I want to show them too, because there was some of me that felt like the highest calling is to be a pastor, right? There's some of me that thought that, but I want to teach my kids, dude, the highest calling is whatever God calls you to, and you do that to the glory of God. So like with my kids, you don't, like, I want to instill kind of what Dad taught us too. I think God really called me to ministry, but like what Dad called me, Dad always taught us like ministry is more than just being a pastor or being at the church and things like that. It's like you can do ministry in business and ministry in all kinds of ways.
Yeah.
You can support pastors, you can support missionaries and things like that.
Yeah.
So we try to instill in our kids that ministry isn't the path forward. It isn't the spiritual path.
Yeah.
Everything, like
everything you can do to the glory of God.
To the glory of God.
Even if you're out there working in wherever you work.
Wherever you are.
If you're out there raking the leaves, or you can do it to the glory of God.
Right.
And Dad always, I'm glad you didn't get into law school while you're going to seminary and stuff. Dad always, and when you come up with your ideas and want to talk to Dad about it, and Dad always gently brings you back to center. Yeah. He does it in he's such a gentle guy. I mean, his demeanor. He just tries to steer you back in the.
Yeah, I was about to take out all my equity and go buy some.
Yeah,
some
and Dad's like,
company.
No, and Dad's like, no, Christian, you're gonna do God's work. Just do God's work. Focus on God's work.
So that was a funny thing, right? Around the time when Crate's doing the business, I see my siblings doing the business, and I'm like, oh, I want to help out because I want to take part in what they're doing, right? And then I remember Dad was talking to Crate about something with the business, with the company and things like that. And I remember, oh, bro, we could do this and this. And Dad just, after Crate left, Dad goes, son, that's for me and your brother to figure out. You just do your ministry. I was like, can I get some equity?
What did he say? You had your chance.
Yeah. It's his turn now. No, but I was like, oh yeah, but no, it's always a good reminder. I come home to Leah and I'm like, yeah, I thought about all this stuff, and my dad said, just focus on this.
Yes.
And then I remember going to Dad and I'm like, oh, Dad is tight right now. and dad don't feel sorry. He don't apologize. You're like, oh, okay. What did you expect? He was like, oh yeah, you gave up money being the way you glorify God when you went into ministry. That's kind of like what I take away. And I'm like, okay, so having enough to eat, having a roof over your head, take care of your kids, that's enough.
That's plenty enough.
Plenty enough, and you're good. And then we kind of, that's why I think like it's helped us in ministry because we're able to give. We're able to give and be generous to other people and have them in our house, and we're able to do all of that because we're just not really focused on the stuff right here. But what helps is we got family on the back end, like dad and you guys, and create them blessing us, taking care of us, helping us with groceries and things like that. So that makes it a lot easier for us. So thank you guys, because you guys are, and it showed me you guys are just as much a part of ministry as anything else. And I think the way our family operates, like we've always had enough because when times we needed food, you guys bring us food, you know. So thank you.
And when Ezra needed granola bars, we bring him granola.
We just don't buy him that because all he's gonna do is eat granola. Yeah, there are times when we could afford granola bars, but we just don't, because if I buy granola bars, he's just gonna eat that for the next 48 hours. Yeah, but this is good, Mom.
Yeah, thank you for having me on.
Yeah, no problem. Any last things you want to share?
No, that no, not really. Just that whatever you do in life, do it to His glory, and do the best you can with what He's given you, and yeah,
Will do. I will do. We'll try that.
And then stay focused on the ministry, right? Don't get sidetracked with all this things that happening around you with others or friends or everything. Everybody got their own hustle.
Yeah.
Your hustle, and you got your own.
Don't call the church. You were gonna say you got your own. You were gonna say you got your own hustle.
Well, everybody got their own hustle. You got your thing going.
Everybody got their own hustle, and you just hustle at the church. That's what you got.
And you got your thing going, right? You in the ministry. You're at Harbor Church Waipahu, and just stay focused on that. The Lord will provide things that you need, and and for you and Leah and the kids and Grandma. I'm always praying that the Lord bless you guys. Yeah,
and He has, Mom. He has. Yeah, especially through the family. It's helpful. Well, I love you.
Love you too.
Okay. We did it.
Oh, you think it was good?
It was super good.
Really?